Hey everybody, welcome back. A pretty common goal for people who work out is to try and improve the quality of their life. And getting stronger in any way is obviously going to help with that a lot. But there is a difference between maximal strength and practical strength. That difference isn't always as big as you might think or as some people might lead you to believe, but you do get better at what you train. And part of the reason that disconnect can happen is because you're training your body to perform very intense movements for short periods of time. Whereas in your day-to-day life, if you have to carry something heavy or move something heavy around, it's going to be a somewhat less explosive movement that lasts a longer period. And an easy way to shorten the gap between your maximal strength and your everyday strength is to simply perform some kind of carrying exercise. As I mentioned in my earlier video about fundamental movement patterns, where I went over 5 of the basic fundamental movements, there are more movement patterns depending on who you ask, and carrying is one of those. Now, I wasn't taught to classify carries as one of the fundamental movement patterns, but looking around online, there are a good amount of people that do consider it to be a fundamental movement. I partially disagree because it is not necessarily a distinct movement. You are essentially just walking with weight. So in my opinion, I wouldn't really classify them as a fundamental movement pattern. Part of why I could agree with classifying them as fundamental is because, much like the other fundamental movement patterns that I went over, they are a very foundational and very natural exercise or movement in general that pretty much everyone can benefit from. There's really no reason not to include carries in your routine. They really carry over great for your everyday life. Almost every day you have to carry objects. They don't always have to be heavy, but when you're carrying groceries, carrying luggage, suitcases, whatever, another benefit is they challenge your core a lot. Probably much more than the fundamental movements I went over in my other video. And if you want to talk about functionality, I know functional fitness is kind of a big thing these days. So if you're one of those people who's into functional fitness, what are you even doing if you're not training carries? Basically, any carry exercise is going to be a full body exercise with a big emphasis on your arms and your core. You can do these exercises with almost any weight implement, but I would say the best training tools for training different carry exercises are probably going to be kettlebells, sandbags, maybe trap bars as well. So one of the most popular and most effective carrying exercises is the farmer's carry, where you just hold one weight in each hand and let the weight hang at your sides as you walk. It's a great exercise. As with all carries, a full body exercise, but it especially places emphasis on your grip strength and your neck strength as well. And it's very, very useful for your day-to-day life. So you can use kettlebells with these. You can also use dumbbells. I find dumbbells to be a little less comfortable than kettlebells, but it's probably just a personal preference mostly. I usually use, since I don't have kettlebells that go up heavy enough for me, I just tie some weight plates together to a handle. It's not the most elegant solution, but it works pretty well. It's a very simple exercise. Literally all you do is just hold the weight and carry it. Just walk like you normally would while holding the weight. That's another thing that I like about carrying exercises is they're probably some of the least technically complicated but most effective exercises out there. Literally all you have to do is hold the weight and carry it. A step up from the farmer's carry is, in terms of difficulty, I guess, is the suitcase carry. You just hold one weight at a time. And why that's so much more challenging is because without the other weight counterbalancing, that one weight is going to pull your body to the side much more. The core muscles that move your core to the side are going to have to work much harder during this variation to keep your body stable. So in that way, even though you're only carrying half as much weight, it's still a more challenging exercise in some regards. And it helps if you have super uneven ground like this. Makes it even harder. So for this next carrying exercise, we'll do underhand carries, and it places more of an emphasis on your biceps. It's going to challenge those a lot more, and the front and the back of your core especially are going to be challenged during this because the weight is kind of in front of your body. I got my grappling dummy here. He's going to be my stand-in for a sandbag. I don't really have a normal sandbag, but a grappling dummy is basically just a sandbag that's shaped like a person. So you can practice an underhand carry like this too. So depending on your equipment, you might not be able to do this one, but just an over the shoulder carry where you have the weight spread evenly across both your shoulders. And the other way is to just carry the weight on one shoulder. This also puts a little bit more of a challenge on your core because of the same kind of principle as the suitcase carry. Because the weight is not evenly distributed, your core has to work a little harder to keep it stable. That one is also a super practical and useful way of carrying weight. Once you get used to it, just try it. I think it's probably, in my experience, one of the most useful ways of carrying weight. All right, and the last carry I want to show you today is going to be overhead carries. They're probably the most challenging, probably the least practical as well, because, I mean, when in your life are you going to be carrying something over your head with both arms outstretched? But like I said in my fundamental movement video, effective training isn't always about doing things one-to-one exactly how you would in your day-to-day life. Sometimes it's just about building stability, which will be useful in your day-to-day life, even if it's not one-to-one perfectly how it is in your training. So one of the ways that carrying weight is so challenging for your core is because since the weight is just free to move around, it's going to be trying to pull you forwards or backwards or to the sides. So your core has to really work very hard to prevent that movement and stay stable during the movement. And depending on how far you're carrying it, you're going to have to keep your core braced for a long period of time, which really helps you build core stability. If your core is not stable, it's going to affect both your upper and lower body strength. It's been shown that having a stronger core both increases your upper body and lower body strength and your athleticism as well. So basically having a stronger and more stable core just makes you better at every kind of athletic movement or any kind of movement that you would do in your day-to-day life, just in general. Yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. As always, remember to like and subscribe. Have fun and enjoy your training, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.